be fair to one another and ensure we share our challenges in time, because right now I cannot sort challenges, yet we have a session to go to. Okay, so we're live on YouTube. Let me start my video. Okay, so okay. Let me close a number of things here. Can confirm that you can see my screen once I share it. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you confirm that you can see my screen? You can see it on the chat, or you can unmute and say, yes, you can see my screen. Please let us have feedback. This is not a preacher preaching in church. Okay, thank you, Laban. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Hira. Yes. So I've just logged in. The issue of you logging in is going to be something that you're going to sort later on. So even somebody has tried to register on canvas.instructure.com. I wonder where they got that link, but we're going to sort that later. So let me go to your course. Let me switch my view to, CAD view. So today I'm taking you through 2 labs. There's one lab in module, I think 4. So let's get on to each. The course that you are doing, let's call up, is 15657. 15657. Yeah, it is here. You can see 15657. And kindly, if you're chatting me on WhatsApp with regards to issues, I'll look at that later. So I'll go to student view to be first of all, so that I can get a perspective of how it looks on your side. Then I'll jump onto the modules. You can go to modules from here. You can also go to modules from here. So you can either go to modules from here. These announcements, where any announcements I make, I'll be making them from there. Your discussions are going to take place from there, and your grades are there. So you can access the modules, the discussions, and even anything about course support. This goes directly to the AWS Academy team. But unless you really need that, if you're having any issue, you can always reach out to me. So let's go to modules. So for us to really complete this course in 5 weeks, you really need to do also a bit of the groundwork on your side. What I basically mean is that you don't wait until you have the live sessions for you to go through all these, to go through the section 1 video, section 2 videos, the section 3 video, section 4 for module 1, the wrap-up video, the student guide, quizzes. We are going to go through these with you. Basically, what we're going to be going through is your question and answer, your understanding, and a bit of this and that also that is there on the slides. So kindly make sure that you take a advantage of the time that you have within the week, basically like right now, from now up until Wednesday when we meet, to go through these self-paced part. That is the videos that explain all these and the case studies. Then you can, for example, like for our case, our target for this week is module 1 and module 2 with regards to your self-paced learning. And as I've told you, I did a bit of a lab. I think I did a lab that was there in module, I think it was module 5. It was module 5. So I'm going to module 4 and taking you through this lab on Aws Iam. So let me take you through the lab. Thursdays will be all about labs. We've been doing some practicals. Wednesday is going to be to go through the slides. So one thing that you need to know that all the labs provided by AWS is provided through a third-party provider called Vocarium, and you have to agree to the terms and conditions. And so you may read, most probably, I don't know most of you who will read these terms and conditions, but you must make sure, obviously, whether you read it or not, you must agree to these terms and conditions. So let's do this. I have to click on agree here. You can also be sending in anything on the chat if you have a question or if you have anything that I'll be monitoring the chat. So you can see I'll be able to get this. Then I think I can choose student access. Then once I choose student access, I get to this lab. And you can see these are lab 1, introduction to AWS identity and access management. In this lab, what we'll do is we're going to look at the identity and access management users, the IAM groups. We're also going to check on access to the different AWS services logged in as different identity access management users. So basically what this lab is all about is, think of it like your student portal. So when you log in as a student, there are things you can do on the system that I maybe as a lecturer cannot do. For example, I cannot check your transcript. I can only check maybe only the units that I've been teaching, and I can only see your marks for the units that I taught you. I cannot be able to see whether you've gotten an A or a B on a unit that I didn't teach you. So that is also a way of identity and access management. So same case for AWS of the different services. You can be able to choose which services are available to which users. And all this is possible because of AWS IAM, that is identity and access management. So, can I go to my work? Let me see what happens here. I think I did this lab earlier. If I did it, I'll have to go as another user. I don't know whether it's going to, or it will allow me. Oh, yeah, good. So this is how the lab looks like. You have this side here. This side here has the instructions. So AWS Academy labs are built in a way that as long as you follow the instructions, the steps, because it's a step-by-step activity, you are going to complete the lab easily, because it's just a matter of following the instructions that are being given on this side, and you're going to see. So since it takes a bit of time to start the lab, I'll do this first step so that I'll read whatever is on top of it. So I'll choose Start Lab. You can see these where all the steps are given numbers. And up until the end of the lab, you're going to see the last instruction. You can see it has almost 50 steps, about 50 steps. So going up, I'll go to step 1. You see at the top of these instructions, choose Start Lab to launch a lab. So I'll click Start Lab here. You're going to see that for yours. It usually takes a bit of time. So wait until you see the message of lab status ready. But you're not going to wait because I've already clicked on start. So I'll take you at the top as we see this. I really don't know if I can zoom this in a bit. So you can see what happens is you're going to look at identity and access management, which is a web service that enables AWS customers to manage users and user permissions within AWS. So it is a way of actually ensuring that you can centrally manage. So I can just wait on this, but I think it's in creation. Let it continue creating it. So centrally manage users, basically you're going to be able, you get a central location where you can control what users can do on the AWS Management Console. Also the kind of security credentials and also the permissions that are there to control access to which resources. For example, even this lab, when the moment I start it, I'll get access to the AWS Management Console, but I can only do what is within this lab. I cannot decide to go and access other services using whatever logins I'll get to do other things. I'll be restricted. And I think that is also part of identity and access management. When you look at this, let me see if they can maximize it to make things better. I think I can close this downloads part and I'll try to zoom in. Yeah, I think it's great. I hope it makes it better. Hope it makes, so you can see you have your AWS account. Then we have the users. We're going to have user 1, user 2, and user 3. Then you're going to have different groups. We are going to have a group for EC2 administrator and EC2 support for those who are who are going to be doing EC2 support and S3 support. So basically what we're going to have is the EC2 admin has the ability to view an EC2 instance. EC2 is just like a virtual machine, Elastic Compute Cloud. So the policy here is that the admin can view, can start, and stop access. The EC2 support, the IAM policy for EC2 support is that the user has only read-only access. They can't do anything to the EC2 instance. Then the S3 support, that person has within this group, who is within this group, any user within this group can only read an S3 bucket. An S3 is a simple storage service. So you're going to see that. So we're going to explore pre-created IAM users and groups. We're going to inspect the IAM policy that have been applied to the pre-created groups. So the pre-created groups are these in purple. Then we are also going to follow a real-world scenario of adding users to groups with specific capabilities enabled. Then we're going to locate and use the IAM sign-in URL and experiment with the effect of policies on service access. So we're going to see, can we access this? Can you try to circumvent the policy? Can we try and go against the policy? What will happen? So as you have been told, IAM can manage users and the access, roles and permissions, and also manage what are called federated users. That is identity federation, allowing existing users in the enterprise to access the AWS Management Console, to call AWS APIs and to access resources without the need to create an IAM user for each identity. So all this is what we're going to do. It says it takes roughly 40 minutes, but you're going to see how long it will take us. So I don't know whether when I clicked X, I got whether my lab went ready. Yeah, my lab is ready. So to know whether your lab is ready, let me zoom out. You're going to see a timer, and you're going to see this timer here. And for example, this lab have been given 2 hours, meaning that if they see that I'm going to take 40 minutes to complete it, 2 hours is more than enough for me to complete. So this timer will start and you'll know that your lab is ready. So You'll just follow the steps. So wait until lab status is ready. We didn't, I clicked on X. Don't worry, but it still did actually accept. Oh, and again, let me just be very, very frank with you. I'll not really admit someone when your account is showing Infinix, Techno, HP, and all those kind of things, because it really shows that maybe you are not really supposed to be in this class. So somebody with that will basically stay in the waiting room forever. So let me just continue. Where were we? So step 3, we are now on step 3. At the top of these instructions, choose AWS. This will open the Aws Management Console, which you are going to see, and you are going to be automatically logged into the Aws Management Console. So the Aws Management Console is where all the magic happens. It is the central place. So let me just click on that. It's going to open on a new tab. So in case it doesn't open, always check if you have enabled pop-ups or not, so that you are able to log in. So you can see, like, currently it's already logged me in, and you can see this is the auto-generated account from Vocarium Labs and the test student. You're not going to see test student, you're going to see your name here. So I'll just close this. I need to close that. So we're going to get to this place. And again, as I told you, you cannot do anything that is outside the lab. So for example, like right now, you're going to see a lot of services here. So this is what happens. With AWS, you can just get all the services that are here, or you can just search the service that you want from this part. So when you look at this, for example, I can just decide and go to machine learning and start looking for Amazon Augmented AI or Amazon Code Guru or Amazon Deep Racer, AWS Deep Racer. I can't go do that. Basically, I'll only follow what is in the lab. And the best way to do this lab is you take your instructions to the side. So for example, I'll just do this. I'll zoom out and I'll see whether I can just take that to the side. Oh, I had a screen. Okay, I'll just deal with that later on. Oh, I had this still running. I'll close that because it's taking a toll on my bandwidth. That's okay. Where were we? Let me close other things that I opened here. Sorry. So you have the instructions on one side. Then you can take the AWS Management Console, which is on this side, and take it to one side. For example, you can just decide to do something like that, so that you're going to have instructions side by side somewhere there. And then whatever you're doing is on this other side. Makes it very easy for you to work. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? If you have any questions, you can put it on the chat, or you can raise your hand if you want to unmute and speak. So yeah, please do that so that I can confirm. I don't know whether there's anyone of us who is trying to do this together with me. I had said that if you're doing that, you can, so that you can be on this at the same pace. So that maybe I'm not too fast, or maybe I'm not too slow. So maybe you can put it on the chat if you are also here, those who have been able to access the platform and you've been able to start your lab. Is there anyone who is doing that? Anyone? Anyone? Because I'd like it to be also as interactive. I would also want to have someone who is also doing this. Anyone? Anyone who is also doing this? Oh yeah, yes, Ameshak, don't worry. this stream is available on YouTube. So what is required is Meshach, you must have already been able to access your AWS Academy LMS account, and you've been able to access the course 15657. Rogers, good. So you're in. So if you're in, have you been able to log in? Maybe you can unmute. It makes it easier. Maybe instead of typing in. So anyone who is not being able to access the account, please, we are going to sort that later on, and we are going to make a session. So yes, I can see Meshach, you're logged in. So have you been able to start your lab? Have you been able to start the lab for lab 4?
I'm at the dashboard.
Or you're at the dashboard. So if you're at the dashboard, have you been able to see the course 15657?
Yeah, I can see it. AWS Academy Cloud Foundations. Yes,
kindly launch it and then go to modules. So I believe you are somewhere like, I think you're here. Let me take you there.
Yeah, I can see introduction to course survey, course introduction.
So yeah, under modules, yes, you must be somewhere here.
Yes.
So scroll down to module 4. Module 4.
Module 4. AWS Cloud Security.
Yes. Then continue scrolling down. You're going to see somewhere written Lab 1, Introduction to Aws Iam.
Yeah, just below the student guide.
Yeah, exactly. So just click on it. Just click on it. Personally, I cannot click on it because it's already loaded on this other side.
Okay.
So once you click on it, you click on Start Lab. I know it's going to take a bit of time to provision the resources. So,
we can just continue.
But we'll continue, then you'll catch up as we move on also, because once you're there, just click on Start Lab. You're going to see this button here. Once it loads. I saw Rogers. Rogers, are you able to do that also? Rogers? Yes. So have you been able to start your lab? If so, that would be awesome, so that you can move together. So we are on step 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Meshach, you have something to say? Have you been able to start the lab?
Not really.
Has it loaded? Has it loaded to this part where you're seeing these buttons?
Let me maximize now. Which buttons?
You're seeing the details, the AWS, Start Lab, End Lab, the counter. The counter will not be running, obviously, because you haven't launched the lab and it has not been provisioned.
Oh, yeah, I'm there.
You're there. So click on, have you clicked on Start Lab?
Let me click.
Click on Start Lab. You must see somewhere written Start Lab. Then it will start. It will start the process of provisioning you the AWS resources.
Okay.
Hiram, yes, you're also yes. Yes, Meshach. Yes, Meshach. Are you getting somewhere? Have you been able to start? Yes.
Is a pop-up window which is loading lab status in creation.
Yeah, in creation. So you just wait there. Just let it continue. Then you are going to see later on show you lab status ready. When you see ready, you just click on close. Then you'll now click on AWS.
Okay. Yeah, the counter is on.
Yeah, okay. I'm also seeing here, I'm saying lab status in creation. William, you're also saying yes, you're in. I want to know how many of you have been able to have the lab status ready. I think once we have a couple of us having the lab status ready, we can go on so that we can flow together. Angie, your lab status is ready. Good. I think we can have 3 or 4 of us again have your lab status ready. It's going to not take too long. I think some 2-3 minutes. Then it loads for you. Good, Rogers, your lab status is ready. Who else? William, your lab status is in creation. Maybe a minute or 2, then it's going to provision your resources. Who else? So for those who are in creation, so for those who your lab status is ready, I hope you've now clicked on AWS. You've clicked on AWS. Then when the pop-up window came, you've set up your screen the way I've set up mine. You must set up your, it actually makes it very easy. It actually makes your work very easy to follow the instructions on this side. To follow the instructions on this side and do the real thing on this other side. Let me check the chat. It's an interactive lab, as I said. I'm not doing it alone, so I'm happy to see some of you are somewhere. Rosie in creation, good. Meshach. For those who had said in creation, have you checked whether it has become ready? Good. When the moment it says ready, click on AWS. William still in creation. Don't worry. I think just a few seconds or to the maximum a minute, then it comes on. We chat to someone on the waiting room. We think it's not 11. Okay. For those who had said in ready, have you been able to set up your screen to be side by side like this, like mine? Because the essence of this training is for us to get the hands-on skills using AWS services. And it's very important. I wouldn't want to rush and do it alone because I've done this severally, so I know. So it's important that we do it together so that we can have questions along the way. Okay, let me check the chat. Let's see, maybe someone there. Oh, William is ready. So I hope you've clicked on AWS and it's side by side like this. So let me take you to the next step. So you can see even they're telling you arrange the AWS Management Console tab so that it displays alongside these instructions. Ideally, you'll be able to see both browsers at the same time to make it easier to follow the lab steps. So basically, that is what I've just done. I've put them side by side. My instructions are on this side, and my AWS Management Console is on this side. So task 1, explore the users and groups. In this task, you will explore the users and groups. This is what you're going to look at. And they have already been pre-created for us by the lab. The moment it was being created, it was actually creating the users also. So you can see you have user 1, we have user 2, and also you have user 3. So how will we do? We go to services. You can see we're going to the services. Services is here. I hope you can see on my screen. Then you go to IAM. Will we see it? It's a lot. It has a lot. I think it's under security, identity, and compliance. Yeah. So it's under the category of security, identity, and compliance. Then you go to IAM here. But don't worry if you're not able to go through these whole forest of services that AWS offers. You can just go to search, just type IAM. then you can see it's going to appear here. So you open that. Identity and access management. So I think I'll have to log in using my phone. Let me log in using my phone. So there's somebody called Emmanuel. Is that person here? I'm seeing on the chat. I didn't even check the chat. Getting to the time to fully participate. If you don't have the time to fully participate, we're not sweet talking people to participate. So basically, we have to work with some ground rules, and AWS Academy, AWS Academy has some rules with regards to how we run courses. We cannot run it as if it's a market, it's an open market. So, so how I run the course is how I've been trained to run the course. So don't tell me to just open it up. I think you've ever heard of Zoom bombing, where people start sharing pornography and sharing weird things, and even making the session becoming unable to run. So please, when we do these things, we're not doing just for the sake of ensuring the course can be true, but also for the safety and security of these sessions. So please, please don't start saying that that we are running or we are being mean. Always plan in advance. There's nothing, as long as you've registered, as long as you are on the Google form, I think I make sure the calendar invites get to everyone. So let's go on. I think that was a bit of a short break. I wasn't even supposed to check on my WhatsApp. So somebody can tell me on the chat, especially those of us who have been following, whether you have been able to get to the IAM dashboard. Have you gotten to the IAM dashboard? If you can just say yes. For those who are doing, for those who are following, you can just follow. I was supposed to use my phone to check the charts. Then I saw the weird charts. It's okay. So let me log in on my phone so that I can check the charts from my phone so that I stop opening it from your side. Good. So yeah, I'm there. So I can see on the chart. Okay, I can see sorry about that. I was following up on one of us. Good. Peter, you're there. Carry or lost. Where are you? So that we find you. Tell us where you are on the chat. so that you can follow, you can take you to the where we are. So I can see William, Rogers, Hiram, Meshach, I think all of us are there. Aggie, Agnes, I think you are there also with us, ready. Angie, Angie. And Rogers. I hope you got to the dashboard. So let me move in. Let me move faster so that we have 50 steps for this lab. And I was thinking we can do 2 labs today, but I'm saying we can only do 1 lab. So, but it's fine. Don't worry. We don't have so many labs in this Cloud Foundations course. So you can still do another lab next week. So where are we? Choose user 1. Okay, where? So in the left, in the navigation left, choose users. So on the navigation pane on the left. So this is the navigation pane on the left. Choose users. So users is here. I'll click on that. So you can see I'm seeing AWS student, user 1, user 2, user 3. So choose user 1, summary page, and the permissions tab. So user 1, I'll choose that. So can you confirm that you are there, that you've been able to choose user 1 and you can see the permissions? So you can see it says you do not have the permissions required to perform permissions boundary. Get started. The user doesn't have any permissions in yet. Are we there? You can see it on the chat. Are you there? I'm checking on my phone. Are we here? Yes, Meshach, thank you. So you go to the groups tab. So you can see in step 9. Step 9 is choose the groups tab. User 1 also is not a member of any groups. Are we seeing that? You can see. Also, group name and attached permission, no results. So it means that user 1 is not having any permissions and is not in any groups. Choose the security credentials tab. Choose the security credentials tab. User 1 is assigned a console password. So I'll go to the security credentials. It is here. So there's the permissions, groups, tags, security credentials, access advisor. So you've already looked at permissions. The user doesn't have any permissions. You've already looked at groups. User 1 is not in part of any group. And we are now looking at the security credentials. And you can see user 1 is assigned a console password. You can see it is enabled, but the user has never signed in. The navigation pane on the left, choose user groups. So navigation pane on the left, it must be this part. I'll choose user groups. So it is here at the top. So in case I'm a bit fast, you can just tell me. I'll be checking on the chat. So user groups, I'm on step 11. The following groups have already been created for you. We have EC2 admin, EC2 support, and S3 support. You remember our diagram at the top, our explanation. So you can see EC2 admin, EC2 support, and S3 support. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to ensure that each user will be part of one of these groups, and you are going to see how the policies of those groups is going to affect how those users can access services, the AWS services. So choose the EC2 support group. So for user 1, we are supposed to take that user to the EC2. So we go to that, choose the permissions tab. So you can see the user permissions access advisor. So you can see, I can see the policy here. There is a policy Amazon EC2 read-only access. You can see it is managed policy. They are usually what we call the pre-built policy, so that you don't have to create a policy from scratch. So there are some policies that AWS have already pre-created for us, like templates. The same way when you open maybe Microsoft Word and you find you can start on a template for a CV, so that you don't have to start from a blank page. Same case, it works like this. Then when the policy is updated, the changes to the policy are immediately applied against all users that are attached to the policy. So what happens is that any user is going to be that is attached to the policy, and you update a bit of the policy, is going to be affected. So I'll choose the plus icon to see the policy details. The plus icon is here for those who are following. Oh, somebody is asking, kindly go back to how you started selecting user one. So how did I select user one? What I did is this. There's this left pane on this side. You can see this part written identity and access management. This whole part is where I was. So I went to users. So under users, I was told that there are 3 users, user 1, user 2, and user 3. So I just came and clicked on user 1. Once I clicked on user 1, remember these users, I have not created them. They were pre-created in the lab so that we can be able to understand the identity and access management. So I was told that I should expect that this user 1 doesn't have any permissions, and I can see that when I see this statement here. I also went to groups, and I was told I will expect that this user is not in part of any groups, and I saw no results. And I was also told to look at the security credentials, and I was supposed to ensure and see that, yes, this person has been assigned a console password to access the Amazon console, but that person has never signed in. Then I was told now, after I've done that, to go back to user groups. So we are now on user groups. We are trying to understand the policy that is under EC2 support. Under EC2 support. So under EC2 support is that. And I was told to look at the permissions tab. And I was told to click on this plus sign so that I can just look at the details of this permission. I think I'll now have to close this part a bit. Then I was told a policy defines what actions are allowed and denied. That is what basically is. For example, all of you maybe have a policy on how you're supposed to enter the institution. You have to produce your student ID, or you need to produce, you have to wear a mask, and so on and so forth. So that is a policy that has been set out by the university for you to access, to gain entry. So then we also have this policy. We have this policy, okay, EC2 support, EC2. The policy is granting permission to list and describe information about EC2, elastic load balancing, CloudWatch, and autoscaling. These are services, AWS services. There is the EC2 service, the ELB service, the CloudWatch service, and autoscaling service. And how do we know that? We can see in this something that looks like a JSON code. So we have EC2 can describe elastic load balancing. You can see that, and this is how it works. This is how the syntax of the policies work. Then you have the CloudWatch and the autoscaling. You can basically see that. The basic structure of the statements in an IAM policy is the effect, action, and the resource. So you can see effect is to allow, action is the API calls that can be made against the service. For example, action here for autoscaling, you can describe. Then for the resource, which means any resource, asterisk shows all any kind of resource. And then you'll realize that it shows the scope of the entities that follow this rule. So that is the structure of a policy. So you might want later on, as you move and go deeper into this, you're going to be developing your own policies that are very custom to the organization that you work for. So it's very important to do this, but we are at Cloud Foundation, so don't worry, you're not going to be required to develop your own custom policies as at now. All you need to know is that this is the structure of a policy, effect, action, and the resource. And you need to understand that the EC2 support has the ability to grant permission to list and describe information about those 4 services. So where are we? Maybe, I hope you are here. So choose the minus icon to hide. I'm on step 15. I've done that. In the navigation pane on the left, choose user groups. So the navigation pane is this one. I'll choose user groups. Choose S3 support group, and then go to the permissions tab. So we are trying to look at the different groups and the permissions therein, that they are in those. So you can see Amazon S3 read-only access. The other one was what? The other one was Amazon EC2 read-only access. This policy is now called Amazon S3 read-only access. So let's confirm. Go to permissions. We can see it here. Let me just close this part. Then you can see, we can click the plus icon. The policy grants access to get and the list. You can see to get and to list. To get and to list. To get and to list the different S3 objects, especially I think also even for S3 object lambda, S3 and also S3 object lambda. Okay. Resources that are there in the Amazon. So 19, choose the minus icon, step 19. Step 20, in the navigation pane on the left, choose user groups. I'll do that again. I'll go back to user groups. Choose EC2 admin. The policy, this group is slightly different from the other two. Instead of a managed policy, it is an inline policy. So the other two, the one that was Amazon EC2 read-only access and Amazon S3 read-only access, all of them were managed policy. But for EC2 admin, this one is an inline policy. Let's confirm that. Let's go to permissions. Let me close this. And you can see type is customer inline. If I go back to one of those others, user groups, I go to the one that we had before, EC2 support. I go to permissions. I close this so that you can see better. Do you see the type? AWS managed. But when you go to the one for EC2 admin under user groups, and I go to EC2 admin, you go to permissions, you see that it is, and I close this, customer inline. Yeah, so these are policies assigned to just one user or a group. Inline policies are typically used to apply permissions for one-off situations. So basically, that for this one kind of one-time things that you can do. So that is the difference between a managed policy and an inline policy. So it's just assigned to only one user or only one group. You cannot do it to several users and several groups. So choose the plus icon to see the policy details. It is grant permission to describe information about Amazon EC2 and the ability to start and stop instances. So it's very important. And also these policies, they work well. It's very important because the moment you are dealing with these services, you are paying for them. They are cloud services and you're paying for them. We're going to see maybe things such as AWS cost calculator and the pricing calculator. So when you're paying for them, it's very important to put policies where people cannot just start instances, because anything that you do on AWS has a cost attached to it. Right now you're learning, but right now you can be sure that you cannot create an account on this platform and start doing these things for free. You need to pay for them. But under the AWS Academy program, you can just do these live activities at no cost to you. So the policy grants permission to view describe information about Amazon EC2 and the ability to stop. Choose the minus icon. So you've done that. So business scenario, for the remainder of this lab, we work with these users and the groups. So the 3 users, user 1, user 2, user 3, and the 3 groups, that is EC2 support, EC2 admin, and S3 support. So what you're going to do is you're going to have, so you can see, this is the example. We are part of a company which is growing in the use of AWS services and is using many EC2 instances and a great deal of Amazon S3 storage. So we'd like to give access to new staff depending on their job function, because every staff can come in maybe as a support staff, as somebody who is an administrator, or a database administrator, or a cloud computing expert. So you need to give them access according to their roles. Some of them, maybe they're on probation. They're not supposed to do a lot on the platform. So they only need to give them read-only access so that they can just read whatever is there, but they cannot manipulate and make changes that may affect the resources on your cloud. So for example, like right now, S3 support, read-only access to the Amazon S3. EC2 support, read-only access to Amazon EC2. EC2 admin, be able to view, start, stop, and Amazon and stop Amazon EC2 instances. So what you're going to do is you remember very well that the users, like user 1, was not part of, did not have any permissions, and also was not part of any group. So these are our tasks to add users to the groups. So we are going to add user 1 to S3 support. So in the left navigation, choose user groups. I hope we are somewhere. Before you start on this task, are we following? Are we good? Any questions so far? Any question? Maybe you can unmute if you have a question. Anyone? I don't want to do this so much alone. Are we good? You can type yes or Y so that I can continue. Thank you, Hiram. Thank you, Meshach. Good. So far, we're good somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Others, where are others? Okay, Martin, thank you. Good. So I hope others are also following. So let's continue. Add user 1 to the S3 support group. Thank you, Angie. So we go to user groups. We choose S3 support group. Did you choose this? Oh, I not clicked on it. S3 support, I click on that. I go to the users tab. The users choose add users. So let me close this. I add users. Add users is here. Hope you can see it. Is this not closing? In the add users to S3 support window, select user 1. At the bottom of the screen, choose add users. So it is adding users to the group. It is here. Users added to this group. Add user 2 to EC2 support. These are very simple, basic steps. So let me do it very faster. So I go to user groups. I go to EC2 support. I go to add users. And then I select user 2. And then I choose add users. What am I clicking? Users added to this group. So you can see the person is there, user 2. Then we add user 3 to the EC2 admin group. I go back to user groups. I go to EC2 admin group. I go to add users here under the users tab. I go to user 3. I've selected, then I click on add. Okay, users added to the group. Sorry, don't worry if you see me looking side to side. I'm just checking on my phone for charts. It is in. Let's go on, and also how it looks on your side. Let's go on. We're on step 30. Oh, we already done this. We already done that. So task 3, sign in and test the users. So basically what you want to do now is you're now to log in as one of the users and see whether we are going to have the same rights or the policies are going to be applied on us. So in the navigation pane on the left, choose dashboard. So dashboard is here at the top, it is here. An IAM user's link is displayed on the right. Is it there? I need to make this a bit smaller. It is on this other side. So you can see it is here. We just do this so that you can see it all of it. Amazon. So you can see under AWS, you can see sign in URL, it is here. So this is the link, I can just copy it from here. You can copy. Make it again, I make it smaller. You can open a new tab. Then I paste it there. Copy the sign in into a text editor. Open a private incognito window. Do I really have to do this? Okay, let me do incognito. Maybe let me just follow what they're saying. Let me do an incognito window. Don't worry, it's not that one. Incognito window is here. So this is an incognito. The good thing is with an incognito window, it doesn't take in previous URLs. So I'll just do that. So here is where we are having, let me again arrange this better. I hope you're getting it. Is my screen showing? There's something that has happened on my phone that I'm not seeing. So it's giving you an example. It's giving options for all the other browsers: Firefox, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer. People say it's Internet Explorer. Anyway, I've done that. Next, sign in as user 1 who has been hired. So the password, the username is user 1. So it is here. Just instead of me typing, I'll just copy this, paste it there. Then the password is here. So I've done that. I'll click on sign in. So these are the sign-in URLs that you're going to be giving your users when they want to access the services. So as the administrator or as a cloud, the person running the cloud for your organization, you'll have already provisioned these sign-in URLs for your users. So in the services menu, choose S3. So you can see you are getting another management console, but this one is not similar to the one that we had. That is why we are using an incognito window. This one is for user one. And in the services menu, so let us remember what user one could do. Let me scroll up. So user one, where did we add user one? User one was added to where? User one was added to the S3 support group. So the S3 support group, what can the S3 support group do? Can only read only access to S3 resources. So that is why we are going, when you go to step 30, I mean. Oh, not 30, in the services menu, choose S3. So I'll just go to services, just search S3 here. I usually prefer using search because Amazon has a ton of services. So I just click on it and type. So I'll choose S3. You can see like there's also S3 Glacier, Athena, and that was just using S3. So I know we are past time, but don't worry, we are going to finish in the next 15. You can see we are at step 37. We are finishing at around step 50. So we are almost done. So sorry for taking your time. So in the services menu, choose S3, choose the name of the bucket. So what we call the database is inside it, or the storage in AWS, we call them buckets. So the bucket that exists in the account and browse the contents. So which is the bucket? So there's sample bucket, this here. Since your user is part of the S3 support group in IAM, they have permission to view the list of Amazon S3 buckets and the contents. The bucket does not contain any objects. Now test whether they have access to Amazon EC2. So you can see the bucket doesn't have anything inside it, but let's go to EC2. Remember that these users must not be able to access EC2 instances because they're only part of the S3 support group, which is to view the read-only access to S3 buckets. I know this may look so much because it's the first session and you're wondering all these services, but don't worry, we're going to learn about all these services step by step. Okay, so I just felt that it's important we just get this practical stuff. So choose EC2. In the navigation pane, choose instances. So the instances are here, is here. You cannot see any instances. Instead, you see a message that states you are not authorized to perform this operation. This is because the user has not been granted any permission to access EC2, and that is why you can see this. Yeah. So far, so good. So we'll now sign in as user 2, who has been hired as your Amazon EC2 support person. So the EC2 support person is user 2 can access the EC2 instances, can view them. So sign user 1 out. So we'll just look out. Where's the sign out? Where's the damn sign out? Okay. Amazon anapenda space mingi. Just give them all the space they need. Can't sign out. Can't. Okay, so that issue. Understood that the issue was do this and then I go that way. I think that is the only way I'll survive. And I do this. Sign out. So you usually choose that. Once I've signed out, paste the IAM user sign me link into your private browser and press enter. So the sign-in link was the same. Oh, I forgot I pasted it elsewhere. Need to look for it this other side. Where did you have it? And then where are we? I have so many tabs. I think this should be this one. Yeah, it should be this one. Okay. This is the incognito. I really hope it's going to come with this account ID. If it doesn't, I'll have to do it. I don't want to look for the sign-in link elsewhere. So let me copy this account ID. Must be the one. So I'll sign in with user 2. The lab password 2. And then I'll realize, oh, I'm having an issue. I need to go back to where we were. And frankly speaking, I don't remember my browsers. Maybe I'll just click on AWS here again to be safe. So sometimes you might lose your tabs, but the moment you want to go back, you just click on this AWS, going to log you in automatically. So you need to go to IAM and get the sign-in link. So you can see the good thing, it shows me even the recently visited services. Let me get the sign-in link. We go back to the incognito window. So we're just acting as these users. You need to do this. Yeah, it has appeared. Here is the sign-in link. Sign-in URL. Let's go back to our incognito window. I paste that. And then I now use user 2, lab password 2. So let it come in. Lab password 2. I'm logged in, so I must be able to see the EC2 instances. Remember, I was told that I have no permissions as user 1, but for user 2, who is part of the EC2 support group, using IAM, okay, you need to search EC2. You'll be able to access the EC2 instances. Okay, let's go to EC2. In the navigation pane on the left, choose instances. you are not able to see an Amazon EC2 instances because you have read-only permissions. However, you are now able to see, basically you're going to be able to see that, but you'll not be able to make any changes to the resources. Let's confirm that. In these things, when you're doing it, you will become a doubting Thomas. You must make sure you're not just told something and you believe, you do it yourself. So I can see two EC2 instances. This one is instance called lab host, and then another one called bastion host. So select the instance called named lab host. So just select it here. In the instance state menu above here, choose stop instance. To confirm you want to stop, choose. So we are expecting that you are not going to be able to do this because you remember it's only the EC2 admin group who can start and stop instances. So let me do this. You can see I get a very big error message. You are not authorized to perform this operation. That's the only thing you need to remember. That, and it really helps, and it's only possible because of IAM. So this demonstrates that the policy only allows you to view information without making any changes. Click on next and check if user 2 has access to Amazon S3. So let's see. We are expecting that also this user doesn't have access to S3. Only read-only access to EC2. So far, so good. You can tell me on the chat, so far, so good. Tuko sawa? Are we getting something? Don't worry, you can still follow this up once I share with you the recording. I mean the YouTube link. But I hope so far, so good. So we are expecting that this user 2 does not have access to read the buckets, the S3 buckets, because we are not added user 2 to the managed policy. That is the Amazon S3 read-only permissions managed policy. So let's go. We're going to see you are seeing buckets. You can see you don't have permissions to list buckets. After you or your AWS administrators have updated permission to allow you, refresh this page, identity and access management in Amazon S3. So you can see the policies are now working. User 2 cannot just look at the buckets, the S3 buckets in the same organization. So sign user 2 out of the out of the AWS Management Console. So what I'll just do is I'll just sign out here. Then we now go to the last one. Paste the IAM user sign link into your private and press enter. So our sign-in link, we have it. We had it here. Have we lost it again? It's here. Copy it. Copy it. Go back to the incognito window. Paste it there again. We are going now to the last user. Now we're going to user 3, the administrator, the alpha and omega of the system. Okay, login, user 3, lab password 3. That is the password. I paste that, I sign in. In the services menu, choose EC2. So instead of me even going out there, I can just see that it is here, but still for learning purposes, you can just go to search and type EC2. I usually prefer just searching them because you don't have to go through the maze of services. So let's go, it is here, virtual servers in the cloud. On the navigation pane on the left, choose instances. The navigation pane on the left, so it is loading the instances. So select the instance named lab host. So I'll select this. Choose stop instance. Remember the other time, user 3 could not do it. I mean user 2. So we expect user 3 could do it. So you can see successfully stopped the instance, that is the lab host. You can see that with that ID. So close your private browser window. I'll close that. Lab complete, congratulations, you have completed the lab. Choose end lab at the top of this page. So you close all these others, you can log out, but you can just end the lab here. Then click on yes, must make sure press yes. Okay. So you can see you may close the message, the lab resources are terminating. So that is the lab. That was the lab on AWS Identity and Access Management. I think it took us longer than usual because we are trying to do it. I don't know how many of us were able to do the lab. How many of us were able to finish the lab? You can see the charts. Harriet, yeah, you're able, Felix. Good. So I think those are saying we are good so far, so good. I don't know how many, who finished the lab? Ah, good, Meshach, you did the lab. That is, congratulations. I need to clap for you, good. I was also finishing the lab as I take my banana here. So let me stop the video. I mean, stop the session. So kindly follow this up. If you didn't get to understand, you can still just get the link and follow it up at your own slow pace. The good thing is for the labs, you don't just do them once and for all. You can start them and redo them as many times as possible until you get the whole concept. So it's not a one-time thing.